Hi, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Create Profitable Managed Services with LiveAction and the latest SP features. I'm Stacy Jambura, the Event Marketing Coordinator here at LiveAction and your moderator for today. Today, I am joined by Damien and Simon, and they're going to be running through a discussion and demonstration today regarding LiveSP and its latest updates. During our presentation today, if you do have any questions that come up, please make sure to enter those into the chat bar, and we're going to address those at the end of our presentation demonstration today with a Q&A session. So with that, I'm going to hand you over to Damien first, and then we'll hear from Simon.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Stacy. So hi everyone, so my name is Damien Defer. I'm the EMEA Sales Director for LiveAction. So I've been working at the company since more than 5 years, I will say, including the time, the time for before the LiveAction. So today, what we are going to discuss about is about the LiveSP platform and the LiveAction portfolio that we are using to help our friends service providers to create managed services, and more important, to make revenues out of these platforms. So first of all, let's give some context on where we are today in the world. After 2 years of pandemic and people being all expert on everything, I will say the Facebook experts, we have more and more access to information. We have more and more access to online buying. So customers, the consumers, got used to go on internet and buy their own stuff and compare the prices against different enterprises. I would say as well, so that is possible because now we have as well more and more bandwidth available, network bandwidth available at home with the FTTH connection, the fiber. And the consumer realized on the network telecom side that the bandwidth is not that expensive for the bandwidth they have at home, so they do expect similar things on the enterprise side. As well, for the last 10 years, we have more and more an uberization of the buying, so everybody is looking to consume anything at any time and being able to pick and choose whenever they want something. So it's more difficult for the enterprises to look at the long-term data, to look at the long-term engagement, and it's more pick and choose features and products, and they can change easily from one company, one brand to another brand. So facing that kind of issues, the enterprises had to react. So they had revenue decrease or margin decrease because of these issues, because of the price comparison from between different companies coming from different parts of the world. So the enterprises reacted differently. So some of them decided to merge into very large organizations. So that's a way to save money by merging teams like marketing teams or administration teams or operation. So that brings a lot of large merging for the last 10 years. Stellantis is a good example. Some of them decided as well to cut the number of employees or to not renew people that are going to retirement. So basically, inside the enterprises, they have some pressure to do more with less. So provide more internal support with less number of people. As well, they had to find a way to innovate faster and being able to bring to market a new product very quickly. Leveraging a new business model, leveraging new IT systems provided in the SaaS, providing flexible pricing, and we see that as well on the service provider side, where they ask bandwidth that can be changing very quickly from high bandwidth to low bandwidth, depending on what they need. Another impact for a company that is under pressure is, of course, that they want to lower their cost. And one of the ways they decided to go and lower this cost is to put pressure on the different suppliers and renegotiate the contract. And of course, the service provider, you know it very well. So you have been challenged for the last 10 years, by the enterprises to provide more with contract that costs less. So provide more bandwidth, more features, more SD-WAN, and so on, but with a cost that is reducing. So the pressure is now on you, and has been on you. So there's 3 different axes that have been noticed that the service provider are following. One is to refocus their market. So it could be by decreasing the scope of the enterprises they are working with to refocus on some area on which they are very profitable and expert, I will say, or to extend the market to new region or new technologies on which they can grab some market share from the others. Another one is, of course, the cost killing, is to internally the service provider. We have seen that you have been very challenged internally to keep delivering more and more features and more services to your customers with the same number of people, or sometimes with even less number of people. So it's very challenging on your side. Third way that a company can do, like service provider, is to sell more to the customer base. So you had in the very long time ago, you had only like connectivity services, and then you did bring the TV services, the phone services, the IT services, security services, and so on. So as you have a large number of customers, an existing customer base with a strong presence in your region, it's quite easy. It's more easy to sell to an existing customer base than to go and hunt for new customers and try to get them out of an existing supplier. So in that manner, if we do a very basic calculation, the idea of selling more services, if we look at an existing contract in terms of revenues for the connectivity, so how much an enterprise is paying for the links to their different sites. In the past, you had these revenues. In front of that, you had costs, of course, of installation of the links, of the fibers, of the equipment, of your the pop centers and everything, and you had some margin into that. Now that the revenues are decreasing on these connectivity links, your costs are not decreasing as fast because you have to provide more features in the same time. As I said, customers expect more with a less amount of money. So the margins are smaller, I will say. Okay. So the idea is, and you had already that on different topics, but how to add value-added services to these customers to maintain the revenue if possible, if not to decrease the revenue, but still keep a good level of margin. So by using these value-added services, could be on security, could be as well on the reporting side, and this is what I will detail a little bit later. The idea is to find a way to help you making a good amount of margin on this different solution with a reasonable cost in order to keep the same total of margin, even if the revenue decreased against the total contract value that you were selling to the enterprises. Okay. Of course, it's a very simplistic view, but the idea is to help you keeping your margin level, because this is what the investors are looking for. The stock options, the people are looking for having return every year on what they invested into the service provider when it's a public company. So on the LiveAction side, we focused on providing these value-added services to help the service provider delivering visibility, monitoring, end-to-end visualization to the enterprises. And we signed a lot of different partnerships with more than 100 different vendors. And with these customers, with our customers, we deployed with more than 800,000. We are monitoring more than 800,000 devices around the world, and we have, of course, support to follow and help our service providers. So we are focusing on that. And how we do that is by leveraging different solutions in our portfolio. The core one, I will say, is the LiveSP platform that we use for the monitoring and the reporting. And a little bit later in today, in the discussion, Simon will deliver a demo on this part. So this LiveSP core solution provides reporting dashboard and so to the enterprises. It's a multi-tenant platform. And what it will do is to collect data from CPEs from on the customer side, from provider edge, by leveraging SNMP and flows that are available already on your equipment. So nothing to install, we just consume these flows. Another way to get data and provide value-added reporting to your customers is by collecting data from SD-WAN devices through SNMP flow, through API integration with the controllers, in order to have the same kind of information, the same information back into the centralized solution. And then we have what we call the add-on for the service provider. So that are different modules we can add per customer depending on what they need to do. So if they want to have packet capture analysis, if they want to drill down into the packets and have more information, if they want to do performance metrics, we have these devices, virtual or physical, that we can plug into the network. It is similar to what you have with a NetScout, a VAV, or river-based solution, but we can provide it to you as a managed services for your customers, or you can provide it as a managed service, of course. We have as well the LiveNX solution, which is one of the core solutions of LiveAction, which is a dedicated platform per customer to help them visualizing their flows from the LAN switches up to the data centers, virtualized data centers, clouds, firewalls, or whatever, to see the end-to-end analysis. Okay, so that can be used as well to create these services. We have as well agents to do some cloud testing, so to test if a website are well performing. We have as well the ThreadEye solution that we acquired last year, that we are using for security purposes to analyze encrypted flows to provide information regarding ransomware attack or phishing attack. And this is the security analysis of the network. So with this core solution and the add-on, we are able to collect different kind of metrics from the equipment. So if you look at this table, and we can show it later, on any kind of equipment, we can collect SNMP and flow. You can customize these to collect additional information like VoIP information. So if you want to collect a number of calls on a router or quality of the calls and so on. So if it's available by SNMP, we can easily add that into the system. And then we did some advanced integration. So let me put some advanced information with Cisco, Huawei, OneAccess to collect some advanced metrics like the application performance, like the delay, the metrics, the packet losses, the jitter for the different flows. Then on the SD-WAN part, we did integration with different vendors to help you providing a unified reporting across multiple vendors, whatever they are, Cisco Viptela or Nokia New Age or Fortinet SD-WAN and some others that will be coming. The idea is we collect these SNMP and flow data from the devices, and we are as well exchanging with the controllers to get performance metrics from the tunnels and from the application. Okay, so the idea is through the same interface, you can push your customers from a legacy network up to SD-WAN, help them creating data and showing information about their network. And as I said, we are integrated as well with the Livewire, so we can monitor as well the application performance through the same interface. So LiveSP, this LiveSP platform, as I said, it is a core solution that we help the service provider to implement that is used to provide a lot of different features for a cost that is very, very low. So the idea is to have a cost for the customer that is less than 10 euros per month, $10 per month. And with that, the end users can see a lot of different reports in the interface. They can create their own reports. You can customize it, of course. They have like real-time dashboards. They can view their application and see the IP addresses and who is doing what and which application is used. You can see these applications are performing well, so they can see the performances. They can see as well some capacity planning information, and we are adding more and more analytics into this part. They can create alerts. They can say, hey, if my application has a lot of delays, or if my throughput is very high, or if my CPU is very high, I want to raise alarms, and so on. So they can see, they can customize everything. They can see topology maps. And all of that for this very small amount, provided by the service provider, by you. So like that, they don't have to be an expert on the solution. They just consume the service on your side by ticking the box. So they say, okay, I would like to have some reporting, tick the box, they buy it through you. And then the implementation is industrialized, and they can benefit from the reporting very quickly without installing any new hardware, okay, without changing anything on their existing infrastructure. This is the first part for the enterprises. Second part, which is important as well for you, the service provider, is that these features that you will implement for your customers will serve as well your support and your consulting teams. We have seen that for many of our customers. When the platform is implemented, they start creating procedures for the support to say, okay, if you have a customer calling for this issue, go on LiveSP, check this part, check this data, check this graph, and it will help you into your analyze. It helps as well the consulting team, because like that, you could every month create automatically a report that your consulting will go and meet with the customer, analyze it with them, help them create, so showing some trends, and they have everything ready in LiveSP. They just have to customize it. What we have seen as well is that when we have this mass market solution implemented, it is then very easy to upsell other solution, other LiveAction solution to the customers. It's as well possible to upsell other of your offering to the customers, like VoIP or whatever, or security features. But if we focus on the LiveAction solution, creating an add-on to say, okay, would you be interested to see your data centers? Would you be interested to see your packet capture information? And then you can activate the LiveAction features to serve your customer with more value-added services and keep growing your revenues and your margins through these services and through these consulting services as well. Okay. So I will give you an example, a kind of proof of something we did with one of our customers. Is that in 2018, they launched their LiveSP platform as a base for their customers, and they're starting to implement it for thousands and thousands of customers. And 1 year later, so the revenue for them grew slowly but surely on these through this part. And then they decided to add as well the add-on services that I was mentioning, the packet capture, the dedicated platform, and so forth, which brings a lot of revenues as well for a lower number of customers, but it's still a very high margin that you can get from these equipment. Okay. So the result is very positive after multiple years. After 2 years, 3 years actually, right now, the revenues is beyond several millions of revenues, and it's very beneficial for the service provider. So what we will do next with the presentation, the demo of my colleague Simon, is to explain you. To show you the LiveSP interface, how it looks like, and as well to provide you an example of an add-on service that you can add to your customers. And as well, we will talk about the latest LiveSP features that we have added to the solution. So that being said, I will give the ball to my colleague Simon.
Thank you, Damien. So let me now present to you how with LiveSP you can follow your SD-WAN migration, and how you can also leverage collected data by LiveSP towards other use like marketing usage, and how you can get your managed service profitable. So first, for those who don't know LiveSP, let me introduce you. So now I'm connected to LiveSP, and I'm connected to a customer, we call it tenant, which is having Cisco SD-WAN. So they are in a process of, let us say, migrating their network to SD-WAN. So on this landing page, this home page, which is dedicated for me, we can see general information, and we can see aggregated information based on 1 day. So we have an idea of the inventory, how much devices, sites I have. What is these devices and sites availability? So are there sites which have been down? What is the traffic on my WAN, both internet and MPLS over the day? Here below, I have a visibility now on the applications. So what are the main applications consuming bandwidths on my network? And below, I have the performance of my SD-WAN connectivity. I mean, what is the internet maximum delay and loss rate, and the same thing for MPLS. So with this landing page, I have a visibility both on my network, my application landscape, and my SD-WAN performance. So from here, we can go to other page. Let us say I'm an IT director and we are in the process of rolling out SD-WAN. So I want to see how SD-WAN is behaving, let us say in Barcelona site. So from here, I can go to a report called Path Analysis, where I can have a visibility on the SD-WAN performance on the Barcelona sites. So here I see that Barcelona site is using both internet and MPLS traffic. I see the traffic, incoming traffic and outgoing traffic on my Barcelona site. Internet is green. So I see that it's mostly internet is used, but somehow, sometimes I have also the traffic is switching to MPLS. So that's interesting because I see that, you see, when I move my bar, when I move my cursor, at this moment of the day, the traffic has switched from internet to MPLS, and in the same time, the loss rate on my internet link has raised from below 10% to 20%. So you see, at this moment, the internet has become less performant, has having lots of loss rate above 10%, and therefore the SD-WAN policy was applied and traffic has switched over to MPLS. And when the internet connectivity has become reliable again, with internet packet loss going to 0%, then on the above, I see the traffic has switched back to the internet, which is the primary connectivity to be used. So as a network director, I am now capable to see that on Barcelona, my SD-WAN migration has been done properly and the policy applied have been properly applied. So now as a IT director, I would be interested to see what are the traffic going within these pipes, which traffic is going to internet, which traffic is going to MPLS. So therefore I can switch to another report, which is traffic analysis. So traffic analysis is based on NetFlow. And here on Barcelona, I see that I have, again, traffic both on internet and MPLS. And I can see here below all the top traffic generating, consuming bandwidths on Barcelona. Traffic in and traffic out. And I can see as well below the top talkers per IP address. These are the people that are generating most bandwidths on Barcelona. Let us say as an IT director, we have just migrated to a SaaS-based application on the cloud. So let us say we move to Office 365, and I'm curious to know what is the traffic generated by Office 365. So I see that here I have traffic going out. So I see that it's generating 494 megabytes of traffic. So I can get deeper and analyze this application traffic. So I can now focus, I drill down, and now I'm focusing on Office 365 as an application in Barcelona. So I see that Office 365 is taking both internet and MPLS, is consuming both internet and MPLS traffic. Over the day, it's 222 megabytes, etc. And these are the people who are using Office 365. So as IT director, I'm happy, and I can see that this, let us say, SaaS-based application is now commonly used, and I know exactly the behavior of this application in terms of traffic consumed as aggregated and over the day. So these are the two capabilities that we wanted to give you as overview with LiveSP. You can follow the SD-WAN migration, and you can also follow the volume of traffic consumed by application. Let's go a little bit deeper in the dashboard capability. So I showed you these dashboards, but it's interesting also to see that you can customize, you can create these dashboards very easily yourself. Let us say you want to create a new dashboard. Let us create a new dashboard with this very simple connectivity. Let us see something to measure CPU. So on Cisco SD-WAN CPU usage, that's great. As a gauge, we can change the thresholds if you want, but for the moment, let's do something very quickly. So I want to resize my dashboard this way. And now I want to create a timeline to measure the load of the traffic on my CPE. Let us say SNMP load out. Okay, very quick, very basic. And I want to apply this traffic, this report, sorry. I want to filter it based on CPE so that I can select the CPE on which I want this this dashboard to be visible. Okay, I can resize each window the way I want. And here, my dashboard is ready in a couple of minutes, not even minutes. So now I can use it. It's part of the dashboards available in my on my window, and I can apply it to all CPEs, or let us say I want to monitor what's happening in Barcelona. So I select Barcelona in the drop-down menu, and I can see the CPU usage and the traffic going out in Barcelona. Okay, so you see, very easy to create your own dashboards. What else capabilities do we have with LiveSP? We can also follow flows from site to site. Typically, you can select the site where you want to see originating flows, and let us keep the destination to all sites. So now I see that from Barcelona, I have this amount of traffic going out, taking 75% of the traffic is going on internet and 25% on MPLS, and this is where the traffic is heading. So this is a very useful report to see typically which data centers, for example, is accessed by the traffic from, let us say, a branch office site. And I can add as many KPIs as I want. Typically here, I can position myself here at this moment where I know that I had packet loss on internet, and I see that when I had packet loss on internet, you see the traffic has dropped and all the traffic has switched on the MPLS. This is the behavior of the traffic we saw previously on Barcelona. So this is a very useful report. You can also replay it and move on to analyze how this traffic is behaving over the time. Finally, we can also see reports on the long term. So this is very interesting because with LiveSP, you are capturing lots of data on the network and on the application. So it will be useful to use this data and to export it and to send it to whatever marketing department to be used as big data lake. But one example is to also to see this data generated every month. For example, could be a very useful report. If I'm an IT engineer, it would be a very useful report that I would send to my boss every month to tell him, hey, this is the overall traffic we have, let us say, in the data center. These are the most popular application. This is the amount of traffic generated per application, etc., etc. So I can schedule this report typically to be executed every month and to be sent to my boss or to me directly or to my boss. Okay, so these are various type of reports. So dashboard are real-time reports, and reports, what we call reports, are long-term reports. We have as well alerting capabilities. So this is another example of alerting capabilities. Here you can see I have 3 alerts in this site, 3 alerts which are major, and I can see that here it's the load which is above the threshold. And if I click on this glass, I can see the behavior of the KPI and at which moment it is above the threshold. So this is a very useful alerting report for operations. Okay, so now let's move to something else. So until now, I was showing you our capability, general capability, focusing on SD-WAN. So since few releases, we have also the possibility to monitor to monitor Fortinet devices. So we have the capability to collect SNMP flow and performance KPI through an API from FortiManager. So this is another example of landing page for another customer which is having a FortiGate devices. So, and again, the same thing, this is the landing page. So I have global view on my inventory, my applications, and my API, my performance of the SD-WAN. And again, let us say here, I have a data center where I have FortiGate devices, SD-WAN FortiGate. I see the traffic in and out from the data center. And let us say I want to see the traffic per SD-WAN path. So I will drill down to this. Let us take this dashboard, for example, Fortinet application analysis, where I can see the application going on my connectivities network. And if I want to focus on a specific network, for example, if I want to see what traffic is going on the fiber connectivity, then I have the list of the application going on the fiber. Another useful report is the network and SLA analysis, which provides me the SD-WAN, the health of the SD-WAN connectivity. So typically here I can see for all three connectivities I have, fiber, internet, and LTE, I can see the traffic over the time. And I can see the performance of each connectivity. Typically here, I see that the internet is having 7.4 millisecond of delay, where the fiber has a better delay, less delay. And in my example, LTE is having the one which is having the less delay, okay? So from here, what I can do as well is that, let us say I want to focus on my fiber connectivity. So I filter on my fiber connectivity. So now I see the volume of traffic on my data center going on the fiber. I can see the performance. And here I can see the applications going on my fiber as previously. And I can zoom like this whenever I want. So something interesting here, you see that within the applications, there is this, let us take this Facebook, for example. You see there is the F. F means Fortinet. It means that we are using the application ID coming from the FortiManager, because we integrate the application dictionary of FortiManager, so we are able to recognize the applications as defined in FortiManager. So we are able to display the volume of traffic per application up to layer 7. Facebook is, in this example, is layer 7. So I can show you where we store these application dictionaries. It's here, it's in the settings. So here are all the vendors that we support, all the dictionaries. So of course we support the Cosmos, which is currently SD-WAN, Cisco SD-WAN dictionary. And we have also Fortinet. And you see, these are all the applications, 4,000 applications that are application IDs that we are able to recognize based on the application IDs we collect from FortiGate. You can add, of course, your own applications under LiveSP. If you want to create your custom application, a LiveSP custom application, here is where you add your custom application if the application, the business application you are using is not within the dictionary provided by FortiManager. Okay. So, with Fortinet, we are able to collect performance KPI regarding the SD-WAN health. So you can follow the jitter, the delay, and the loss of the SD-WAN connectivities. You are able to see the application volume, but you cannot see the performance of application. This is not a KPI that is provided by FortiManager through NetFlow. So if you need to have the idea to know what are the applications which are behaving badly with lots of delay, then you need to deploy Livewire. And this is what we propose, what we provide. We provide Livewire that you can deploy in the data center. And once you have deployed Livewire in the data center, then you are able to have a visibility on the application performance. Like typically here, this is an application performance report based not anymore on FortiGate, but on, you see here, the L last for Livewire. So these are applications discovered by the Livewire appliance from LiveAction. And the value of this is that it provides you the possibility to provide to your customer advanced reporting on the performances of the application, and therefore provide what we call tiered reporting. Tiered reporting meaning you provide basic reporting, NetFlow, SNMP at a cheap price for, let us say, for all your customers. But for your gold customers, you will provide them advanced reporting based on this Livewire capability. Advanced reporting based showing application performance. So here, typically, what we can see in this example of dashboard is you see a repartition or a split of all the applications in my network, and distributed based on the one which are having the highest delay. Like typically, I see this is an application which is having lots of delay, and I can see it here. Okay, I can see that it's having the total response time is 54 seconds, and this response time is due to the server. It's a server which is responding lately, because the network delay is only 168 milliseconds. So as an IT director or an IT engineer with such capability, I am quickly able to say if a customer, if the user is complaining that his application is performing badly, I can quickly see and say, oh, it's not the network, it's the application itself. So we need to look from the server side or from the data center side what's happening. Okay, so it's already, in a first glance, we can immediately say where the problem is heading. Is it in the network or is it on the server side? Let us say we imagine we roll out Microsoft Office 365 and somebody is complaining that it's very low, it's very slow. So I can filter, I can say, oh, this is the performance of the Microsoft Office 365. As a maximum, it's taking 1 second. And the network is only 97 milliseconds. So dear user, the problem is from the server side, it's not from the application side. So quickly, in a few seconds, I can tell him that. If I want, I can drill down a little bit more to see the application performance detail, because we saw only a max number. Now I want to see a more detailed number. So I can see these 1 second or 2 seconds when it's happening over the time. And again, I can see that it's in blue, it's a server, and the network, which is green, is not introducing delay. So it's not a network issue. Okay. And I can see the users, the top talkers, which are using Microsoft Office 365. So I have a lot of information that I already can share with the users. Now, if I want to go one step deeper and troubleshoot, I can drill down to the Livewire. So I will drill down inside the Livewire and I can generate a forensic search to troubleshoot this problem. So typically, I'm going to record it as Office 365 troubleshoot number 3. And I'm going to filter my forensic search, let us say, on the application Microsoft Office. So it's going to search for all the traffic. It's can be very quick, but it can take time. But let us say, let me show you another one that I launched, Office 365 Troubleshoot. So here, if you look to the applications, you can see I can see only Microsoft Office 365 because that's obvious because I filtered the search only on this application. And if I want to go in more detail in the expert analysis, but here I don't have time today to go in detail, but just going to surf on it, I can troubleshoot. I can see which users is having which type of problem. So I can see that here, for example, I have an alarm, and I can see that as I noticed previously, that is the application which is slow because I can see an alarm here, HTTP slow response time. And if I want to see up to packet level, I can even launch the flow visualizer, and I can see every packet IP exchange between the user and the server. So this is sent by the user, this is sent by server, and I can see at which packet request here the client has sent a request, the server started responding, and then he spent 20 seconds to respond to the second, to provide the second information. So it's clearly something, an issue related to the server side. So this is just to overview the capability of troubleshooting capability you can do with the Livewire appliance. To finish, what I suggest is to view quickly what's new with LiveSP. We have released version 21.1 this summer. It was GA in August. So I advise you to use the site LiveSP support at .liveaction.com, what's new, where we regularly provide new updates. With 21.1, you can click on it and you can, let us say, focus only on major features. So we have released new capability, new filtering capability to enhance end user experience. We have also a major feature. We are able to provision automatically GRE and IPsec tunnel for Zscaler. So you can click on it and you have detailed information about this feature. Okay, so this feature allows you to visualize separately the traffic going into Zscaler and the traffic going in the overlay. And you have all the detail. If you click here, you have an explanation how to configure this capability within your LiveSP. Okay, so a very useful site. And finally, with 20.1.2, we have also, which was released early access at this stage, is still not GA. It was early access in December. We have enhanced our alerting capability, but again, we will address that in maybe another session. If you want, you can contact me. Okay, so I hope you had an overview of LiveSP capability, a clear overview. What I suggest is that I pass it now to Stacy, where we can address your questions if you have.
So Stacy, do you have a question?
Hi, yes, sorry, I was double muted. Technology here. Thank you guys for your presentations today. We did have a couple questions come through. I want to make sure that we address those. The first question that we had was, how long would it take to deploy a new LiveSP platform, and what is the business model?
Okay, so I can take this question. So thanks for asking it. So I would say the deployment of a LiveSP platform depends on the size of your network. From a tier 3 service provider, I will say it takes about a month and a half, and we can even provide it as a SaaS. For a very large tier 1 service provider with, let's say, multiple 10,000s of devices to be loaded, I would say the deployment is about 6 months in total. So the time for planification, getting the servers with you guys, having it ready, and then we do the implementation and we help you for the configuration and things like that. So I would say from the beginning to the end of the project, it's about 6 months. This is about what we have seen with some other customers. And the business model that we did put in place is really a constructive model. So it's a pay-as-you-grow model based on monthly consumption of licenses. So the idea behind that is we help you deploying this platform. You don't take a lot of risk to have this platform implemented and proposed to your customers. And the more customers you are onboarding to the platform, meaning the more invoices you are providing to these customers as well, so the more revenues you are making. So then we look at how much licenses have been consumed on the platform, and we are doing the invoicing accordingly. So it's a win-win situation where you can invoice the customers and be aligned with us in terms of consumption of licenses. And we have different level of licenses. We can provide very, very cheap licenses just for SNMP, and then Flow, and then SD-WAN, and then we have the NX and Livewire, and so on. So the idea is to have a very, very flexible model where we grow together with on the business side with as little risk as possible on your side.
Great. Another question we had was, can we use LiveSP to provide SLA engagement to the customers?
So yes, we have on the LiveSP part, we are collecting this kind of metrics like SLA metrics regarding delay, jitter, packet losses, and we can leverage the solution to provide very complex SLA calculation for your customers. For example, based on how much application and bandwidth is consumed, and against the SLAs that have been delivered across the network.
Great. Another question we had was, you stated that Livewire needs to be located in the customer's database, or data center, to measure application performance. But what about cloud-based applications? Can Livewire monitor application performance in the cloud?
I take this one, Damien. So yes, I didn't say it. So Livewire is an appliance. It can be a physical appliance, but it can be also a virtual appliance. So as such, we can deploy it in the cloud. I mean, it's we have two types of deliverables: one specific for AWS and one for Azure. And yes, it can be deployed in the cloud.
Great. One last question that we got was, can you give us more detail on what we can measure for the Zscaler tunnel?
Yes, I showed, on the what's new that we are able to automatically provision Zscaler tunnels, IPsec or GRE. So once we have provisioned them, we are able to measure the volume of traffic going specifically within this tunnel. And we are able to identify the applications that are going to within this scalar tunnel and the volume per application. So to answer the question, so global volume of traffic and per application traffic.
Great. Well, thank you, Damien and Simon. So today, hopefully, you've all gained some new insights into how LiveAction's LiveSP can help provide service providers some valuable services around visibility, monitoring, and end-to-end visualization using centralized monitoring and reporting. You can get a full picture of how LiveAction can help deliver successful network operations by taking another look at this webinar or by sharing it with a colleague. You may also explore the LiveAction channel on Bright Talk to view any of our past webinars for some additional insight. You may also request a more personalized one-on-one LiveSP demo session for you and your team. Links to these resources and more can be found in the attachments tab of this webinar. So with that, I want to thank you all for attending today's webinar and remind you that our next webinar, which will be part 3 of our Journey of a Voice over IP Video Packet webinar series, Packets Don't Lie, will be this coming Wednesday, March 16th. So you want to make sure to pre-register so you don't miss out on that. I know we didn't have enough time today to go as in-depth on packets as we'd like, so this will be a great one to hop in on. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.